Hi guys. In today's lesson, I will be talking about linking words in Spanish part 3. If you're interested in linking words in Spanish part 1 and part 2, you can access to the 2 previous videos I have before this one, okay? So let's start with part 3. Alright, so this is the fourth type of linking words, okay? And these are going to help us to explain the consequences of something, okay? Nos van a ayudar a explicar las consecuencias de algo, okay? Now let's see those linking words. Let's start with the first one, okay? In English, we say so. In Spanish, we're going to say así que, así que, así que, okay? Let's see some examples so we can understand better this linking word, okay? We have this sentence. In this sentence, we have, it's too late, so I gotta go. So to say, it's too late, so I gotta go, in Spanish, you have to say, ya es muy tarde. That means, it's too late. Ya es muy tarde. So, así que, I gotta go. Tengo que irme. Okay? One more time, just in Spanish. Ya es muy tarde, así que tengo que irme. Okay? Ya es muy tarde, así que tengo que irme. Okay? So to say so, in Spanish you have to say así que. Now we have this example, okay? In this sentence, we have later on, there will be more traffic, so hurry up. To say this, in Spanish, you have to say más tarde, that means later on, más tarde, there will be, habrá more traffic, más tráfico. So, así que, hurry up. Apúrate, okay? One more time. Más tarde habrá más tráfico. Later on, there will be more traffic. So, así que, hurry up. Apúrate, okay? Now, just in Spanish. Más tarde habrá más tráfico. Así que apúrate. Okay, one more time. Más tarde habrá más tráfico. Así que apúrate. Okay? Now we have this linking word, therefore, okay? To say therefore in Spanish, we have to say por lo tanto, por lo tanto, por lo tanto. Okay, now let's see some examples. We have this sentence, okay? I don't have a lot of battery. Therefore, I will not be able to call you. Okay, to say this, in Spanish, we have to say no tengo mucha batería. That means I don't have a lot of battery. No tengo mucha batería. Therefore, por lo tanto, I will not be able to call you. No podré llamarte. Okay? One more time. No tengo mucha batería. Por lo tanto, no podré llamarte. Okay? One more time. I don't have a lot of battery. No tengo mucha batería. Therefore, por lo tanto, I will not be able to call you. No podré llamarte. Okay? Remember, therefore in Spanish, por lo tanto. Here we have another example, okay? In this sentence, we have Maria has a lot of work. Therefore, she will not be able to go to the movies with us, okay? To say this, in Spanish, we have to say María tiene mucho trabajo. Okay, that means María has a lot of work. María tiene mucho trabajo. Therefore, por lo tanto, she will not be able to go to the movies with us. Ella no podrá ir al cine con nosotros, okay? She will not be able, ella no podrá, she will not be able to go to the movies, ir al cine with us, con nosotros, okay? One more time, just in Spanish. María tiene mucho trabajo, por lo tanto, no podrá ir al cine con nosotros, okay? Now we have this linking word, as a consequence, okay? To say as a consequence in Spanish, we have to say como consecuencia, como consecuencia, como consecuencia. Okay, now let's see some examples with this linking word, okay? Here we have this sentence. My husband crashed, and as a consequence, he hurt his neck. Okay, to say this, in Spanish we have to say mi esposo chocó. That means my husband, mi esposo, crashed, chocó. And, y, as a consequence, como consecuencia, he hurt his neck. Se lastimó el cuello. Okay, one more time. Mi esposo chocó y como consecuencia se lastimó el cuello. Okay, my husband crashed and as a consequence he hurt his neck. Okay, mi esposo chocó y como consecuencia se lastimó el cuello. Okay, so to say as a consequence in Spanish you have to say como consecuencia. Now we have this sentence, okay? My sister ate lots of tacos, and as a consequence, she got sick to her stomach. Okay, to say this, in Spanish you have to say, mi hermana comió muchos tacos. My sister, mi hermana, ate, comió, lots of tacos, muchos tacos. And as a consequence, y como consecuencia, she got sick to her stomach. Se enfermó del estómago, okay? One more time. Mi hermana comió muchos tacos y como consecuencia se enfermó del estómago, okay? My sister ate lots of tacos and as a consequence, she got sick to her stomach, okay? One more time. Mi hermana comió muchos tacos y como consecuencia se enfermó del estómago, okay? And now we have this linking word, as a result, okay? This is a synonym of as a consequence. So to say as a result, in Spanish you have to say como resultado, como resultado, como resultado. Okay, now let's see some examples. All right, so we have this example, okay? They cut staff, and as a result, they fired John. Okay, so to say this, in Spanish you have to say, hicieron recorte de personal. Okay, that means they cut staff in my company. Okay, they cut staff, hicieron recorte de personal, and, y, as a result, como resultado, they fired John. Despidieron a John. Okay, one more time. Hicieron recorte de personal. They cut staff. Hicieron recorte de personal. Y como resultado, and as a result, y como resultado, they fired John. Despidieron a John. Okay? Hicieron recorte de personal y como resultado despidieron a John. Okay? So to say as a result, you have to say in Spanish como resultado. Now we have this sentence, okay? Carla has gone to the gym every day, and as a result, her stress has decreased. Okay, to say this, in Spanish you have to say, Carla ha ido al gimnasio todos los días. That means Carla has gone to the gym every day, okay? Carla has gone, Carla ha ido to the gym, al gimnasio, every day, todos los días, okay? And as a consequence, as a result, y como resultado, and as a result, y como resultado, her stress has decreased. Su estrés ha disminuido, okay? So one more time. Carla ha ido al gimnasio todos los días. Carla has gone to the gym every day. And as a result, y como resultado, her stress has decreased. Su estrés ha disminuido, okay? Now I have this linking word. For this reason, okay? To say for this reason, in Spanish you have to say por este motivo. Por este motivo. Okay, also you can find por esta razón. Okay? Por este motivo or por esta razón. Okay? But we're going to use por este motivo. So I have these examples, okay? You're sick. For this reason, I can't buy you an ice cream, okay? So to say, you're sick for this reason, I can't buy you an ice cream. In Spanish, you have to say, estás enferma. That means you're sick. Estás enferma. For this reason, por este motivo, I can't buy you. No puedo comprarte. I can't buy you an ice cream. Un helado. Okay, one more time. Estás enferma. Por este motivo, no puedo comprarte un helado. Okay? You're sick. For this reason, I can't buy you an ice cream. All right, now we have this example, okay? There's a lot of traffic. For this reason, I will not arrive early to the meeting, okay? So to say this, in Spanish, you have to say, hay mucho tráfico. That means there's a lot of traffic. Hay mucho tráfico. Hay mucho tráfico. For this reason, por este motivo, okay? For this reason, por este motivo, I will not arrive, no llegaré, I will not arrive early, temprano, to the meeting, a la junta, okay? So one more time, hay mucho tráfico. Por este motivo, no llegaré temprano a la junta, okay? There's a lot of traffic. For this reason, I will not arrive early to the meeting. So to say, for this reason in Spanish, you have to say, por este motivo. All right, so here we have the fifth type of linking words, okay? And these are the ones that are going to help us to clarify something, okay? Este tipo de palabras conectores nos van a servir para aclarar algo, okay? They are going to help us to clarify something, okay? So let's see these linking words. Here we have the first one, okay? In other words. To say in other words, in Spanish we have to say en otras palabras. En otras palabras, okay? If you are like trying to explain something but in a complex way and then you want to clarify something and make this easier, then you have to use this linking word, okay? In other words, en otras palabras. Now let's see some examples according to this linking word, okay? Okay, we have this doctor, and this doctor is explaining he's feeling tired, okay? So at the beginning, he's saying, I feel lethargic and with poor coordination. In other words, I am tired, okay? So, to say this, in Spanish you have to say, me siento aletargado. I feel lethargic. Me siento aletargado. And with poor coordination. Y con poca coordinación. Okay? In other words, en otras palabras, I am tired. Okay? Me siento aletargado y con poca coordinación. En pocas palabras, en otras palabras, okay? You can say also in Spanish, en pocas palabras, okay? I am tired. Estoy cansado, okay? All right, so now let's see this example, okay? Here we have, your boss is a narcissistic. In other words, he thinks no one is better than him, okay? So to say this, in Spanish, we have to say, tu jefe es un narcisista. Your boss is a narcissistic, okay? Here we're using a word that is kind of difficult if you're not like knowing much about psychology. So if you listen to that, maybe you will understand it, maybe not. So to clarify it, then you have to say, in other words, en otras palabras, he thinks no one is better than him. Piensa que nadie es mejor que él. Okay? And now we're kind of describing the personality of a narcissistic. Okay? So let's go one more time in Spanish, okay? Tu jefe es un narcisista. Your boss is a narcissistic. In other words, en otras palabras, he thinks no one is better than him. Piensa que nadie es mejor que él. Okay? So remember to say, in other words, in Spanish you have to say, en otras palabras. Now we have, for example, okay? This is the next linking word. For example, okay? In Spanish, to say for example, you have to say por ejemplo, por ejemplo, por ejemplo. Okay, now let's see some examples about this, okay? Imagine that a teacher is explaining the difference between viviparous and oviparous animals, okay? So to clarify them more, she says, for example, cows, dogs, and dolphins are viviparous animals because they do not produce eggs, okay? So to say this, in Spanish we have to say, por ejemplo, for example, okay? Cows, las vacas, dogs, los perros, and dolphins y los delfines are viviparous animals. Son animales vivíparos because they do not produce eggs, porque no producen huevos. Okay? Again, to say this in Spanish, you have to say, por ejemplo, las vacas, los perros y los delfines son animales vivíparos porque no producen huevos. Okay, for example, cows, dogs, and dolphins are viviparous animals because they do not produce eggs. Okay. All right, now we have another example. Okay, for example, saving important events on my cell phone helps me not to forget them. Okay, to say this in Spanish, you have to say, por ejemplo, for example, saving important events on my cell phone, guardar los eventos importantes, saving important events on my cell phone, en mi celular, helps me not to forget them. Ayuda a que no se me olviden, okay? So to say this, again in Spanish, you have to say, por ejemplo, guardar los eventos importantes en mi celular ayuda a que no se me olviden. Okay, one more time. Por ejemplo, guardar los eventos importantes en mi celular ayuda a que no se me olviden. Okay? Now we have rather. Okay, to say rather in Spanish, you have to say mejor dicho. Mejor dicho. Okay, when you say something incorrect and you want to put a correction on that, then you have to say rather in English and Spanish, mejor dicho. Okay, now let's check some examples so you can understand this linking word better. Okay, we have this example. Today I have test. Oh, no. Rather, on Friday I have test. Okay, so at the beginning, this little girl is saying, oh, today I have test, but then she's like, no, it's not today, it's on Friday. Okay, so to say this in Spanish, you have to say, hoy tengo examen. Today I have test. Hoy tengo examen. Rather, mejor dicho, rather, on Friday I have test. El viernes tengo examen. On Friday, el viernes, I have test. Tengo examen. Okay, so one more time, just in Spanish. Hoy tengo examen. Mejor dicho, el viernes tengo examen. Okay, hoy tengo examen. Mejor dicho, el viernes tengo examen. Okay, today I have test. Rather, on Friday I have test. All right, so now we have this example, okay? In this example, we have in 5 days, I have vacation. Rather, in 3 days, okay? So to say this, in Spanish, we have to say, en 5 días, tengo vacaciones. In 5 days, en 5 días, I have vacations. Tengo vacaciones. Rather, mejor dicho, in 3 days. En 3 días. Okay, one more time. En 5 días tengo vacaciones. Mejor dicho, en 3 días. Okay, in 3 days I have vacations. Rather, in 3 days. Okay. All right, so this is the next linking word. Okay, with this I mean. With this I mean. Okay, now let's see some examples according to this linking word. Okay, we have this example. With this, I mean you will no longer work here. Okay, to say this in Spanish, you have to say, con esto quiero decir que. With this, I mean, con esto quiero decir que. You will no longer work here. Ya no trabajarás más aquí. You will no longer work here. Okay? One more time. With this, I mean, con esto quiero decir, you will no longer work here. Que ya no trabajarás más aquí. Okay? One more time, just in Spanish. Con esto quiero decir que ya no trabajarás más aquí. Okay? All right, now let's go to the next example, okay? Here we have, with this, I mean you have to take care of your diet more. Or with this, I mean you have to take care more of your diet, okay? To say this, in Spanish you have to say, con esto quiero decir. With this, I mean you have to take care more, que tienen que cuidar más. You gotta take care more of your diet, su alimentación, okay? One more time, just in Spanish. Con esto quiero decir que tienen que cuidar más su alimentación. With this, I mean you have to take care more your diet, okay? All right, now let's go to the next linking word. This means that. To say this means that, in Spanish you have to say esto quiere decir que. This means that. Esto quiere decir que. Esto quiere decir que. Okay? And now let's use some examples so you can know how to use it. Okay? Here we have. Esto quiere decir que su nivel de ansiedad ha aumentado. This means your level of anxiety has increased. Okay, so to say, this means the level of anxiety of your anxiety has increased. To say this, in Spanish, you have to say, esto quiere decir, this means that, esto quiere decir que, this means that, your level of anxiety, su nivel de ansiedad, your level of anxiety has increased, ha aumentado. Okay, one more time. Esto quiere decir que su nivel de ansiedad ha aumentado. Esto quiere decir que su nivel de ansiedad ha aumentado. Okay, this means your level of anxiety has increased. Okay. All right, so now we have this sentence, okay? This means that you have to diminish the quantity of flour and sugar you eat, okay? Imagine that you go to the doctor and your levels of triglycerides and cholesterol were like super high, and the doctor is saying, this means you have to diminish or decrease the quantity of flour and sugar you eat. Okay, to say this, in Spanish you have to say, esto quiere decir que, this means that, esto quiere decir que, this means that, you have to decrease, tienen que disminuir, the quantity, la cantidad of flour, de harinas, and sugar, y azúcares, you eat. Que comen, okay? One more time. Esto quiere decir que tienen que disminuir la cantidad de harinas y azúcares que comen. This means you have to decrease the quantity of flour and sugar you eat. Okay, so remember to say, this means that. In Spanish, you have to say, esto quiere decir que. All right, and now we have this linking word, okay? So that. So that. To say so that. In Spanish, you have to say de manera que. De manera que. De manera que, okay? Now let's see some examples so you will understand this linking word better, okay? So these guys are learning music, okay? And they are learning a new song. So the teacher is saying to them, de manera que a más practiquen, mejor les saldrá la canción. Okay, this means so that the more you practice, the better the song will be. Okay, okay, one more time. De manera que, so that the more you practice, a más practiquen, the more you practice, a más practiquen, the better the song will be. Mejor le saldrá la canción. Okay? And now we have this example, okay? So that if you don't help me washing the dishes, you will not be able to go to the party, okay? So to say this in Spanish, we have to say, de manera que, so that, de manera que, so that if you don't help me washing the dishes, si no me ayudas a lavar los trastes, you will not be able to go to the party. No vas a poder ir a la fiesta. Okay, one more time. De manera que si no me ayudas a lavar los trastes, no vas a poder ir a la fiesta, okay? So that, de manera que, if you don't help me washing the dishes, si no me ayudas a lavar los trastes, you will not be able to go to the party. No vas a poder ir a la fiesta, okay? So to say so that, you have to say in Spanish, de manera que, okay? So that would be all for today's lesson. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!